Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vak pranaschakshushrotramathu balamindriyani cha sarvani sarvam brahma upanishadam maham brahma nirakuryam mama brahma nirakarod anirakaranamastu anirakaranam me astu tadatmani nirate yaupanishatsu dharmaste mai santu te mai santu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Krutau Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmedi Navibhagine Vyomavadvyaptadehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om iti laksharamudgitamupasita Om iti khudgayate Tasyupavyakyanam Bhagavan martyam va idam shariram Attam mrityuna tadasyamrutasya asharirasya atmanaha adhishthanam atto vai sashariraha priya priyabhyam navai sasharirasya sataha priya priyayoho apahadiraste ashariram vavasandam na priya priye sprashataha. So basically this passage is discussed and Bhashyakara now in reconciling what is said here and what is said later on. So Jakshat Kridan Ramamanaha Stribhirva Yanairva. So as a result, all Jivan Mukti is described, or the joy that the wise person experiences is described in the terms that people can understand. That he is eating, laughing, reveling, sporting with women, with vehicles, etc. So how do you explain this? One explanation is Sarvatmana Sarva Sambandha Upattehe, because the wise person knows himself as the self of all, therefore it is understandable, tenable, logical that he enjoys what everybody enjoys, and therefore you can describe so Buddha Sarvakata Karakundadyabihi, just as the clay is the self of all. It's a pot or a jar or a water pot or whatever. And so whatever a pot experiences, whatever a jar experiences, clay supposedly experiences. In that sense you can say that the wise person can be said to experience whatever anybody experiences. Alright? If you say that, being self of all, he gets connected to the happiness of all those beings, then by the same token, he will get connected to unhappiness also. Then, so the statement was that this is said to praise the Brahma Vidya. That he enjoys happiness is all for extolling Brahma Vidya. But then if he gets connected to unhappiness also, then where is praise? Na dukkhasyapi atmatva upagamat. One explanation is that he is now the self of even dukkha also. He is self of sukha and dukkha both. And dukkha does not experience dukkha. Poison doesn't get killed by poison. Poison doesn't experience poison. Similarly also, he being the Atma of dukkha does not experience dukkha. Alright. But then he also becomes the Atma of dukkhi. So dukkhi experiences dukkha. Atmani avidya kalpana nimittani dukkhani. Understand that dukkha is not the nature of Atma. Dukkha is something that is superimposed upon the Atma. Rajvamiva sarpadi kalpana nimittani. So just as you project snake etc. upon the rope, so also one projects dukkha upon the self. Sacha vidya dukkha nimitta. So statement here is that whatever dukkha there is in the life is all due to ignorance. Sukha is the nature of self, so you experience it. So when you experience sukha or happiness, you always experience yourself in one way or the other. When you experience dukkha, it is not self. It is something that is superimposed upon the self because of ignorance. So dukkha nimitta avidya. Avidya is the nimitta or the cause of dukkha. When avidya goes away, sacha avidya asharir atmegatva swarupa darshanena uchchinnayati. And that ignorance is dispelled in the light of the knowledge of the Atma, the asharira. So sasharira means one who superimposes sharira or the attribute of sharira upon the Atma. Asharira means the one who does no more superimposes. Nagar dukkha sambandha ashanka na sambhavati. So Bhashyakara says that there cannot be any question of the wise person connecting dukkha because dukkha is the product of ignorance. Then an alternate explanation is given. And so this Tikakara said that pariharantaram vaktum tathapi tesham survakshangikarana pariharantaram vaktum. Alright, so even dukkha also, let us say, even if he is the swarupa of anybody, still what is a wise person? So pariharantaram vaktum. The another parihara, another refutation or the explanation of this is given. Tesham saguna brahma vidusham tavat sambandhamaha. So the wise person becomes the self of all the knowers of saguna brahma. Meaning those who become saguna brahma by upasana, he becomes self of them. And therefore, as the saguna brahma, he gets connected only with the happiness of everything. So shuddha sattva sankalpa nimittanam. So before the knowledge also, the wise person naturally, either through upasana or through karma yoga and also through meditations, has attained a mind which enjoys shuddha sankalpatvam or shuddha sattvatvam. So because he enjoys the purity of the mind, in shuddha sattva there is no trace of unhappiness. And shuddha sattva also is a mind of Ishvara. So therefore, just as Mandukya describes how the state of deep sleep, when the Atma or Jiva is completely merged in ignorance, meaning that when Ahankara is not there, how it becomes one with Ishvara. Is Sarveshvara, Sarvajna, etc. So similarly also with the Shuddha Sattva mind, he becomes Saguna Brahman. So Ishvara Deha Sambandha. So therefore he automatically gets connected to the Deha or the Upadhi of Ishvara. So therefore Sarvas Bhuteshu Kamanam Sankalpametvanam Kamanam Ishvare Sambandha. So you can say that all Kama is Aishwarya here. Therefore, automatically gets connected to Aishwarya or the special powers which anybody can have in any body. So there is another explanation that is given. Ye Ishvara Animadi Aishwaryam Prapta Saguna Brahmavit Vidvan Abhipretaha. Ishvaras Deha Sambandha. Who is Ishvara? Animadi Aishwaryam Prapta Saguna Brahma Vidwan. The Vidwan is the Upasaka of Saguna Brahma, who has attained the same the powers that Ishvara has, like Anima, etc. Therefore, in a way, you can call him Ishvara. Tat Sambandha Manasanam Kamanam Asti. Because they enjoy the state of Shuddha Sattva, and therefore he becomes also one with Ishvara, who has gained those powers, who possesses those powers. And through that then he becomes connected to powers or Anima Ishvarya attained by anybody. So this is all description of Ishvarya, the power that the wise person has, you can say. Now, nanu evam api ashariratvam ashariratmavidi tatsamada katham upadita ityah. But you say that he is a knower of asharira atma. Means asanga udasina, unconnected, unrelated. So, asharira atmavidi. For the Upasaka of Saguna Brahma, you can say that there is a connection with all the powers. But here he knows himself Asharira Atma, therefore even not connected with powers or even Shuddha Sattva. Shuddha Sattva also is at the level of the mind, so at the level of Upadhi, the level of Maya, and the wise person knows himself as even devoid of connection with the Shuddha Sattva. Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna. So wise person knows himself Nistraigunyo. Therefore, even doesn't have a connection with the Shuddha Sattva. So Katham Upapaditaha. How do you logically justify the connection of the wise person even with Shuddha Sattva, even with Ishvara, even with Saguna Brahma? In response to that, Bhashyakara says, so, Sarvabhuteshu para eva sarvasattvopadi dvarana bhokta iti. Bhashyakara, in the third line, Bhashyakara says, so Manasanam goes with Kamanam. So, So, Shuddha Sattva Sankalpa Nimittanam tu Manasanam Kamanam Ishvaradeha Sambandha. Then here this Tikagarat looks at a comma there. Sarvabhuteshu Paraeva Sarasatvopadidharana Bhoktayati. Ultimately, even when you say he is Bhokta, the enjoyer of all these powers, the true nature of the enjoyer only is Paramatma. So Sarvabhutesh in all the beings, Para eva Bhokta, ultimately Paramatma alone is Bhokta because Nanya atasti drashta shrota. There is no drashta, no shrota other than Atma anyway. So wherever drashta, shrota is there is nothing but Paramatma. Meaning that wherever even experience of these powers is there. In ultimate sense, only Paramatma is only consciousness. Serve all conscious beings. Therefore, ultimately he alone is a bhokta. Although he is a bhokta. So, Paramatma is a karta, a bhokta in the primary sense. But no karma or bhoga can take place without him. You can say that it is organ of speech that is talking, an organ of hearing that is hearing. But then speaking and hearing cannot take place without self anywhere. Shrotrasya shrotram, manaso manoyat, vacho vacham. The organ of speech is able to speak only because of the self. So in that sense, in a gauna or in a secondary sense, you can say that it is Paramatma alone who is a bhokta. So you call him Nitya Bhokta, Nitya Karta, Nitya Drashta. So there is an Anitya Drashta and Nitya Drashta. Anitya Karta and Nitya Karta. Anitya Bhokta and Nitya Bhokta. So true that Anitya Bhokta, of course, is a Vyavaharika Bhokta, who is identified with the organs of perception and looks upon himself as experiencer. But in the true sense, even the self of that bhokta is nothing but Paramatma, none but Paramatma. Therefore, Sarvabhuteshu Paraeva Sarvasattvopadi Bhokta iti. He being the illuminator of all the minds, the mind is a bhokta. But the self is the one who enlivens the mind also, who imparts the capacity of bhoktritvam and enjoyership to the mind. In that sense, you can say that Paramatma alone is bhokta. So in a secondary sense. So Tika says in line 35, Sarva kama sambandha saguna vidgata tadatmatvat vidusha tasmin upacharyate iti shesha. Anyway, so tadatmatvat vidusha, because vidwan is the atma even of the saguna brahmavit, and therefore saguna brahmavit meaning that upasaka is the enjoyer in the primary sense and this Paramatma is the enjoyer in the secondary sense. So that is the basic explanation anyway. The wise person becomes the experiencer by virtue of being the self of all, that's all. And then also he is experiencer only happiness, that is also said by way of only stuti or arthavada. Parasyeva sarvadhisthanatvena sarvakama sambandham vadan sarata bhoktritve pramanamaha. Parasyeva sarvadhisthanatvena. Okay. That Paramatma is adhishtanam, the substrate of everything, the self of everyone and everything. Even then, sarvakama sambandham vadan. Even though he is self of all, how does he get still connected with the Aishwarya or the powers and desires of all the beings? Sarvatra bhoktritva pramanamaha. That he is the bhokta everywhere. For that pramanam, the valid means of knowledge is given here. So last line Bhashyakara says that Sarva avidya kruta samvyavaharanam para eva atman aspadam nanyosti vedanta siddhantah. Sarva avidya kosam vyavaharanam. Even all the vyavahara, the transactions that take place, even the realm of ignorance, where one looks upon oneself as real karta, real bhokta, there also. So Anandagiri said, Nanu jivanam avidya tatkarya sambandha na ishvarasya iti. Only ignorant people have connection with the kartritva, bhoktritva, with ignorance and products of ignorance. The wise person doesn't have it. Said Parevatma Aspadam. There also Paramatma alone is the real substratum. Because Nanyo Sthiti, there is no one other than Paramatma, the conscious being, iti Vedanta Siddhanta. So Nanya, Anya, Nanya, Asti, Karta. Ataha, Nanya, Ataha, Asti, Karta. Nanya, Ataha, Asti, Drashta, etc., etc. So going to line 36, Tatasya, Saram Khalvidam Brahma Ityadi Shrutaya, Tatra Manam Ityartha. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, all this indeed is Brahma, so Brahma is the self of all the beings. Eduktam Bhavati, so then this is being said here, this is what it is to be said. So, Etaduktam Bhavati. So this is the Nishkarsha, the conclusion that we draw from this discussion. Stutyarthami Jakshanadi Tasmin Vastuta Avidyamanavi Uchyate. So Jakshat Kridin Ramamana Stribhirva Yanirva said that laughing, eating, etc. So Stutyarthami, it is merely for glorifying the knowledge that this is being said. Vastuta Avidyamanavi. In reality, as far as self is concerned, there is no connection with laughing, etc. So wise person also does not have connection with laughing and eating, etc. Vastutaha avidyamanapi. In reality, does not exist in the wise person real connection. But stutyartham, only for glorifying the knowledge that this is being said is artha. But why stuti also? How do you do niralambana stuti ayogat? For stuti you require always an alambana. You require always a locus. You require something to praise. Or praise with reference to something. So when you want to praise somebody, you always compare him with something. For praising also you require some alambana, some support, some, example. So, you call him Iron Man, of India or something like that. So iron becomes an example. So similarly, that is stuti. That this person not iron in the primary sense, but then he has some qualities of iron. So that is all you say. For stuti you require alambanam. You require some example. Niralambana stuti ayogat. For praising also you require some alambanam, some example, some reference point with which you praise. Otherwise you can't praise. Tasmin tat sadbhava sarvatmatvena upapadhyadayati. So because a wise person, so like a person, how happy he is when eating and laughing and reveling and sporting, etc. So you have a picture of a very happy person. Therefore, sarvatmatvena. So therefore, as though a wise person is doing it, tad bhavaha, as though he is doing all of this, because he is the self of that person also, upavadita. In that sense, that the wise person is also doing all of this, is said in a logical sense as an example for only glorifying the knowledge. Iti natat upavadana vayartham bhashya shankyam. It looks like Bhashyakara's all discussion seems to not serve any purpose. Why? You just simply say that this is only praise and forget about it. But then Bhashyakara went ahead and he is the self of all and therefore experiences. No need to say, just praise. But Bhashyakara went a step further and said, because he is self of all, he is self of this person also, it is only for providing alambana or an example for extolling. Natat upadana vayarthyam bhashya shankyam. Therefore, we should not think that in Bhashya, this upapadanam, a logical explanation of why the praise is there. Very logical explanation. Praise is praise. But Bhashyakara justified it, that this description also can apply. See, stuti doesn't have to apply in primary sense. It's called stuti. It is an exaggeration, often. It's gauna prayoga, And so, manavaka, agnir manavaka, child is a fire, and so, you don't know his real fire, that he burns, etc. It doesn't. So also, Bhashyakara did not have to say that why a person actually enjoys that. It's merely praise. But Bhashyakara still chose to do that. So, na vayartham bhashya na sankyam. So, Bhashyakara felt that we should justify this description, and therefore the explanation is given that because the self of that person also, therefore the description is justified. Dukkha adhikantu sarvatmatvaneva praptamapi. By the same token also, he gets connected to dukkha of other people also equally. Stuti hanya patya na uchyate. But then you don't say that, because then this stuti hani, he experienced pleasure of all the beings and pain of all the beings, then it is not a stuti. Meaning that, then no more remains the praise of this knowledge. Then it becomes what? Merely, in fact, a condemnation of knowledge. We get connected with dukkha of all the beings. Vastuto vichare no kopi sambandha vidushide. When you think of from the real standpoint, Vidwan has no connection. Ekastata sarvabhutantaratma na lipyate loka dukkhena bhakya. Because he transcends everything, and therefore he is not connected with sukha dukkha or anything. That's what Bhashyakara said earlier. Na priya priya spushataha. Bhashyakara said priya and apriya, both of these are only agantuka, incidental. Agamapaye, appear and disappear. And the wise person abides in his swarupa, which is ananda, and not impacted by the pleasure and pain which are brought by the circumstances, because they only affect the upadhi. He is a sharira, and therefore the sukha dukkha only affect the sharira. He knows himself a sharira, therefore he is unaffected by them. That's the true explanation. Having given that, then Bhashyakara, give this explanation. Vastuto vichare na kopi sambandha vidushite. In reality, the wise person does not feel connected to anything. When he doesn't feel connected to his body with a question of what is happening to other people. So this is where we are. Okay. Now, continuing the tika, atra kechit, now we go to a next discussion. For whatever reason, Bhashyakara has taken up that discussion. Atra kechit, vidusha jakshanadikam mukhyameva. So there are some, this is called the vrittikara. Maybe Bhaskar Bhatt or somebody, whoever the vrittikara is. Bhashya is a detailed explanation, vritti is a very short explanation. So apparently Bhashyakara, naturally there are some commentators who preceded Bhashyakara. And some people also were Vedantins, so therefore they were his own kind, but not totally in agreement with the Advaita Vedanta. Or Advaita Vedantins are also there, but not in agreement with all the Prakriyas also. So Bhashyakara takes up their views also to refute them, to find out, to point out the dosha or the defect contained in their thinking, to clarify our thinking. Satra kechit vidusha jakshanadika mukhyameva jakshat kridandramamanaha. So some people feel, the vrittikara feels that it is to be taken literally, that wise person is eating and laughing and reveling and etc. Mukhya sambhavati gauna grahana anupatte. So Vedanta then takes that explanation, description in a secondary sense. As though, so he abides in the ananda, which includes all this happiness also of laughing, etc., etc. Not that he laughs. or that not that he needs to laugh and revel, etc. to enjoy. He is Ananda himself, which in fact includes happiness anywhere that takes place. The happiness that a person enjoys in the day-to-day life is a fraction of this fraction. Yat saukyamud lesha lesha dayame shakradayo nirvrutaha. Yat chete nitram prashant kalane labdva munir nirvrutaha. That saukyam, this ocean of happiness, is what the wise person in fact receives in his mind, meaning knows himself as the ocean of happiness. Of which happiness, a fraction of that happiness keeps Indra and others also totally happy. So wise person knows himself as that ocean of happiness, a fraction of which is enough to keep Indra and others happy. And so he doesn't have to laugh or do any particular thing or create an experience to be happy. He is happiness himself. Therefore, all this description here and anywhere else, which we find where the wise person is described, his happiness is described in terms of his local happiness. We take it only in a secondary sense, in a gauna prayoga. They're not easily laughing and doing all that stuff, But then, whatever happiness that a person doing that has, he already has that. But this Tikakara says, Mukhya Sambhavati Gona Grana Anupatte. When you can take the primary meaning of any description, if the primary meaning is applicable, you should not go for secondary meaning. So why not you say that this description is real? That the wise person really enjoys laughter, etc. So they have found out a way of explaining this in a primary sense. How? Ya atma apahata papma vijara vimrutyu vijigitsa vipasa, etc. The one who knows himself as the one that transcends hunger and thirst and grief and meaning that, so one who knows himself is beyond the body, prana, mind, etc. How can he be? So he is not connected with the body. Old age and death, not prana, hunger and thirst, not mind, grief and delusion. So this laughing, reveling all takes place at the level of the upadhi. So how do you connect him with that? How can you say that this is a description in primary sense when the wise person knows himself? Apahata papma says no. Nacha apahata papmatva adigunagasya asharirataya sarvopadi muktasya uttam purushadaya paramatma bhutasya vidusha Strayadi sambandho gnadavan na iti. See, for that you have to go to that passage now which is being talked about here. On the page 416. Otherwise this discussion we will not be able to understand. So the passage here says, Evam Esha Samprasadaha Asma Sharira. This is all familiar to us. The same description came in reference to Upasana also. The Upasana. So here it is in sense of the Brahma Vidya. Evameva Esha Samprasadaha Asmat Sharirat Samuthaya. Emeva, in the same manner, Esha Samprasada, this serene one. So Samprasada can be the description of an upasaka who enjoys serenity by way of the Shuddha Sattva, mind that is enjoyed becomes Shuddha Sattva. Or Samprasada also is a word that applies to the wise person who abides in the happiness. So that Samprasada applied to the Upasaka. Here it applies to the wise person. Asmat Sharira Samuthaya. becoming, so rising up from this body. In case of a wise person, it means becoming free from the identification of the body, knowing himself as a Shariratma, unembodied self. Param Jyoti Upasampadya, having attained his true nature as supreme consciousness, that is his true nature. Meaning having discovered himself to be free from the body, mind, sense complex, and having now seen him discovered as nothing but the consciousness, the limitless consciousness, Svena Rupena Avinishpadyate, then he becomes established in his own nature, which is consciousness. Saha Uttama Purusha. So we take this passage as description of a wise person. Esha Samprasadaha Asmat Sharirat Samuthaya Param Jyoti Rupa Sampadya Svena Rupena Avinishpadyate is the description of the wise person. Saha Uttama Purusha, because identified now with Paramatma, therefore he can be called Uttama Purusha. He is a Purusha, so Akshara, Sukshara, Akshara, Uttama Purusha. So now note this, Sa Uttama Purusha. Sa Tatra Pariyeti. He moves about, Tatra Pariyeti. He moves about there. Jakshat, Kridan, Ramana. Jakshat, eating or laughing. Kridan, sporting. Ramana, reveling. Strivi, with women. Vayanirva, with vehicles. Knyatibirva, with his friends, relatives. Knyati. So this is the part that is being discussed. So we have to come back to this passage to understand what the Vrittikara, how Vrittikara explains this passage. How we explain the passage is, all of this is description of one person. Vrittikara explains that this is description of more than one entity. Part of this is description of Paramatma, and part of it description of the wise person. So we'll see that. This Tikakara will explain that. So now you come back to page 407. Swatra kechit vidusha jakshanadikam mukhyameva satatra pariyeti jakshat kridan ramana. That is a description of this wise person. Mukhyameva. So we said that this description of eating and laughing is merely for extolling or glorifying Brahma Vidya and does not apply in primary sense to the wise person. That person says, this Vrittikara says that this description applies in a primary sense to the wise person, that his eating and laughing and reveling is really the description of this wise person. Mukhya sambhavati gaunagra anupatte. If you can explain that passage such that all this description applies in primary sense, then you don't have to adopt a description in the secondary sense. When the primary meaning is applicable, you should not go for secondary meaning. Then we can tell him, wait a minute, how can it be? So continuing that, apahata papmatvadi gunakasya asharirataya sarvopadi vimuktasya Uttama Purushadaya Paramatma Bhutasya Vidusha Striyadi Sambandho Gnadi Sambandhava Naeti Jakshanadi Anupatti. This is what we would say. So, he is apahata papmatvadi gunakasya. The wise person now knows himself to the self, who is what? Apahya atma, apahata papma, vijaraha, vimnutyu. He knows himself the self that transcends the body, prana, mind, and they were free from all papa, etc. So, asharirataya, there is unembodied, meaning they are totally different from body, who is the eliminate of the body, where body includes both the gross and the subtle bodies, and the causal body also. Asharirataya sarvopadi vimuktasya. And so, the Atma, that is sarvopadi vimukta, naturally free from all the upadis. Uttama purushadaya paramatma bhustasya vidusha. So description that applies to the Paramatma can also apply to a wise person, because the wise person knows himself as the Paramatma. So in the beginning, the Ya Atma Abhata Papa was a description of the Atma. And now the same description applies to the wise person. So now he is Uttama Purusha. Uttama Purushaya Paramatma Bhutasya. Because wise person knows himself Uttama Purusha. Not Kshara Purusha, not Akshara Purusha. Kshara Purusha means the gross and subtle bodies. Akshara Purusha means the causal body. He sees himself as what? The eliminator of the witness of the gross, subtle and causal bodies. He sees himself as Uttama Purusha. Yo mameva sammuda janati purushottamam. Asammuda, so one who is free from all sammuha or the ignorance, knows himself Uttama Purusha, Purushottama. Paramatma Bhutasya, will become Paramatma Vidusha, that Vidwan, who sees himself as Paramatma, is Uttama Purusha. How can that one have Striyadi Sambandha? How can Paramatma have Sambandha with anything? Paramatma Asanga Udasina. Sambandha can be there only between entities that enjoy the same degree of reality. So Stri, etc. are all individuals enjoying the Vyavaharika Satta. So this body, that is Vyavaharika Satta, can have a connection. But the wise person who knows himself as unembodied can have no connection. Jnāti sambandhova Stri birva, Yana irva, Jnāti birva, So with his friends, etc., relatives, how can you have a connection? Iti jakshanadi anupatti. Therefore, this description cannot apply to a wise person in a primary sense, because ashariram vavasantam na priya priya sprushatah. He knows himself unembodied, and therefore he knows himself unaffected by all these vyavaharic experiences. So how can you say that this description of this wise person laughing, etc., applies in primary sense? How can you say that? So, Purva, you cannot say this. When we make this argument, how can you? He says, no, you can't say, you can't make this argument. Why? Vidusha anyasya paramatmana apahada papatvad rupatvad. He says, Paramatma, who is of the nature apahada papatvam, is different, and Vidwan is different. So Vidwan is not Paramatma. The wise person is different from Paramatma. So Ya Atma, Apahata Papma, all the description applies to Paramatma. And in this passage also, Uttama Purusha, etc., all of that applies to Paramatma. Then Saya Tatra Pariyeti, that Sa, the second, doesn't apply to Paramatma, applies to wise person. Tatra Pari, Tatra means what? Tatra Paramatmani Pariyeti. The wise person now in the Paramatma, he moves about in Paramatma and laughing, etc., revels and enjoys, He moves about in Paramatma. So Tatra Pariyeti. He moves about. Tatra means where? In Paramatma, because Uttama Purusha Tatra. So whether Saha applies to Uttama Purusha, Tatra applies, you understand? We say Saha applies to Uttama Purusha. He says Tatra applies to Uttama Purusha. So Tatra means what? In Uttama Purusha. So this person who is laughing, etc., Tatra, so Pariyeti, Jakshat, Kridan. That description, Tatra, in Paramatma, he does all this. So one does in Paramatma, different from Paramatma. So that very word Tatra shows Adhikaranam. And therefore, the Jakshat Kridan Rama, Saha Jakshat Kridan Ramana, he does it in Tatra in Paramatma. So one who moves about and enjoys, etc., is is different from Paramatma. Paramatma is a location where all this thing takes place. So therefore, that the Vartikara says that this passage involves two entities. One is Paramatma, Samprasada, etc. Param Jyotirupa Sampadya. All of these applies to Paramatma. And Satatra Pariyeti applies to the Vidwan or wise person. Therefore, Vidushaha, what? Paramatmana Anyasyeva Vidushaha. The Vidwan, wise person who is different from Paramatma. Who is Paramatma? Apahada Papma Dirupatvat. Paramatmana Apahada Papma. Because Paramatma is Apahada Papma, etc. And Vidwan is not that. Then we can say, wait a minute. How do you get? Because so Esha Akshini Purusha, Esha Swapne Mahiyamana, Esha Samprasada. And so this is all description. Etam Tveva. So Etam Tvevate Vakshyami. I'm going to talk about the same entity. So we said that all of this description, that Akshini Purusha is a waker, and then Swapne Mahimana is a dreamer, and Samprasada is a deep sleeper. And then fourth is a Turiya. That's how we connect it. All these passages are description of only one entity. He says, no, it's not. All the passages are description of different entities. So when we say Tasyevacha, Esh Akshini Ityadena Avasthataya Sambandhitvokte Apahada Papadi Gunakasya Kasamanyatvam. So we say that, wait a minute, what was started is Ya Atma Apahada Papma. Esh Akshini Purusha, same is a Purusha in Akshi Purusha. Same is a dreamer, same is a sleeper, and same is a Sharira. All along, one entity alone is being described here. He says, and therefore, how can you say that the wise person is different, Atma is different? Because Atma alone is started as a waker, dreamer, deep sleeper, Turiya, and the wise person. Therefore, Tasyeva Esakshinityadina Avasthatare Sambandhitvokte. It is same Atma, Apahada Papma, is described by Prajapati as associated with the three states of waking, dream, and deep sleep. So first when the waker is described as Akshi Purusha, then dreamer is described, sleeper. They are not different entities described, same entity, namely Apahada Papma, is described. So how can you say that wise person is different, Paramatma is different? Because Paramatma alone was described as a waker, and then dreamer, then sleeper, and then Turiya. And this is description of the wise person. So only one entity is consistently one entity alone is being described, that is Paramatma. So now all of a sudden, how can you say that wise person is different and Paramatma is different? So Apahada Papmatvade description applies to Paramatma, and Jakshat Krida Ramana applies to wise person. Where do you get these two entities? Say, you cannot say that. Why? Tasyayeva asiddheti. Who says this is a description of three states? Tasya means what? I guess avasthatrayasya, something like that, So, tasya eva asiddhe. So, avasthatrayasya, that's how, because I don't know where tasya applies otherwise. So, that this is not the description of three states, it is description for some other reason. So Vrittikara says that Akshi Purusha doesn't mean a waker. It doesn't mean Atma in the waking state and Atma in the dream state and Atma in deep sleep state. This is only a reflection, and that is a dreamer, that is a sleeper. So it is not Atma that is described as Akshi Purusha and then dreamer and sleeper. Each one of them is independent. And the fourth is Atma. Tasyayeva asiddhe. So you assume that this is description of the three states. of the Atma associated with waking, dream and deep sleep. So Akshi Purusha is interpreted by you as a waker. So Swapne Mahiyamana Charati is okay. Esha Samprasadaha Yatra na Kanchana Kamam Kamaya, sleeper is also okay. But Akshi Purusha is not waker, he is the reflection. And therefore, that this is a description of one person, one entity. The three states itself is not established yet. Tasyeva siddheti ahu. So this is how they argue. And give a different explanation of the whole teaching of Prajapati. Tanmatam anuvadati. That mata of the Vrittikara is what Anuvada is reiterated by Bhashyakara, Esha. So just read the, it's a long description anyway. Let us read the first line. Esha Akshini Purusho Drishyate Iti Chaya Purusha Eva Prajapatina Uktaha Swapna Sushuptayoho Cha Anya Eva Na Paraha Apahata Papmatvadi Lakshanaha Virodhat Iti Kechin Manyante. So Vrittikara Manyante, this is what the Vrittikara say. Yesha Akshini Purusho Drishyate. This was the first instruction by Prajapati. Iti Chaya Purusha. So you don't apply, so we took secondary meanings everywhere. Lakshyartha. It's no Vachyartha. Prajapati meant only the reflection. Akshini, because when Indra looks at the eyes of somebody, like Virochana, and Virochana looks in Indra's eyes, what do they say? Only reflection. So it is Chaya Purusha Eva. So by Akshini Purusha we should understand only the reflection and nothing else, not the Atma. We said it is Atma, there is the seer or the witness in the eyes. So Drishyate is to be interpreted as Drashta, and Drashta must be interpreted as witness. That's how we went through that. He said, no, this is only reflection. So Prajapatina Chaya Purusha eva ukta. As Indra understood and as Virochana understood, that Prajapati meant only reflection, that's what Prajapati meant. Therefore, what Indra and Virochana understood was the right understanding, that Prajapati instructed about the reflection. Then how about the Yesha Swapne Mahimana Charati? And then Samprasada, etc. Swapna Sushuptayo Anya Eva. So the entity in the dream, the dreamer and the sleeper are again a different entity, not this reflection. We said that what is meant by the reflection is because Etantu evate vakshami, I am going to talk about the same entity. Therefore we said that same entity is being talked about. As apahata papma, akshipurusha, swapne mahimana, samprasada, asharira. Says no, the one in the dream and the deep sleep again are different entities. The reflection is a different entity. And the apahata papma is another entity. Na paraha apahata papmatvadi lakshana. You cannot say that the Akshi Purusha or that reflection is the Paramatma who is the sinless, etc. Or that Paramatma is a dreamer and deep sleeper is not described that way. Virodha, how can you say that reflection is Paramatma? How can you say dreamer is Paramatma? Sleeper is Paramatma? Virodha. So the nature of this Akshi Purusha and the dreamer and the deep sleeper is totally in contradiction with the nature of Paramatma. Therefore, those cannot be the description of Paramatma who is Apahata Papma. They are the description which are of something other than Paramatma. Idi kechin manyante. This is how some people interpret the whole teaching. Okay, we'll continue tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.